bits and pieces of it, but it was one of the last and most prominent times that I can remember a heel being quite hot leaving the ring. Because Davy's fourth sister was at ringside with terminal cancer, had been diagnosed. She was struggling, man. God bless her. She had more courage than anybody in the building. And she became, not a part of the storyline, but, you know, she was there seeing her brother lose his European title. And, you know, the Bulldogs here in this country is really amazing. Everybody wants to see another Bulldog Brett match from Wembley. Well, first of all, those matches don't grow in trees, and that was never going to be replicated. But Bulldog, I thought going into that match, as best I recall, that Davey was going to go over. And then, you know, 11th hour appeal, they changed it. And quite frankly, was it the popular decision here? Heck no. One of your guys got screwed out of his title with his dying sister in the front row. Jeez. But boy, it got the heat on those bad guys. And it gave matches for Davey back in the main events for those guys chasing. So I don't know if it was good, bad, or indifferent, but I know it was shocking. But boy, Shawn Michaels had so much courage because he left there with a lot of heat. And people get serious about this shit back in those days, especially even, where you have heat at the hotel, you have heat at the bar, you have heat at the restaurant. They don't just leave it now. I don't know how many people leave an event nowadays and then carry the emotions of the heat or the anger with them. It was just an entertainment show, and that's kind of troubles me sometimes. But who was on the other card?
The other one was 99. It was Rock and Triple H in a cage. Vince was a babyface, and that was the night that Bulldog hit Stephanie with a bin, and she got amnesia, so she couldn't marry Test anymore, so Triple H drugged her, and then they got married, and that meant they really got married, and then that meant he took over NXT, or he created it, so it went on from there.
I remember, well, there you go. There you go, Kenny. Attaboy. Kenny's a wonderful little millennial, isn't he? He's never seen a fucking half-full glass. They're always half empty. I'm kidding. I don't remember that much about that other one. I remember the trips. Here's the problem with that deal. We had a pay-per-view over here in London. Capital Combat or?
Capital Carnage.
Carnage,
with
yeah.
Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, well, I forgot about him. Yeah. He always wanted to act like a tough guy when he come to things around Austin, those guys. And we had like 8 guys in the locker room that could shit turds bigger than him. Oh, he's a hooligan. Oh, fuck, hooligan my dick. You're out man, lad. You're out man. You might want to be a hooligan around in your own country, but here we don't need hooligans. We just need to be a nice guy. Everybody's going to like you. But he thought he had, Vinny, I thought that villain shit was a role. Well, you know, I had a pretty good reputation. And I said, well, you know, never mind. Vinnie Jones, yeah, I remember that. I remember the biggest part about that was the night before that show, my wife called me in my little hotel room. And of course, one of those typical, you know, discounted nice hotel rooms where about the size of the table. And I'm there, my phone rings, scares the shit out of me because I never heard an English phone ring. It was a crazy, wild thing. So I answered my wife, and unfortunately my mother died a few minutes before that. So I was like, oh shit. So then I'm thinking, so she said, I call Vince. So then I did the worst thing. I got mad at my wife for calling Vince, told my mother died, because I was going to keep my secret. I didn't know I needed to know this. So she called him, and then Linda was there, Vince's wife. Stephanie was there. She was a young, and teenager, I think, aged. And they were having breakfast, and I went to the restaurant and had breakfast myself. They happened to be there at another part of the restaurant eating. And, you know, they invited me over. And Vince said, look, if you don't want to work this show tomorrow night, don't worry. We'll do it. And if you want your Jan, my wife Jan said, I'll fly Jan over on the, what's that real fast plane?
Concorde.
That's it. I'll bring her over in a Concorde. If you want to fly home, I'll fly you home charter. He offered me everything that he thought would be good for me. But what would be good for me was to be working. So I did the show. Unfortunately, during the show, I got Bell's palsy again. So now I'm holding my face up so I don't sound like I'm drunk. That's what pisses me off sometimes, the internet. I will say one serious thing about my show tonight is that sometimes when I get real fatigued, my Bell's palsy makes me sound like I'm slurring. And so therefore then I'm drunk, or he's high. Those are the same guys and the little bastards that are in their basement popping pimples and using lotion and Kleenexes. And that are telling me they know when I'm high. I've been high. You ain't seen high. I'm high, but I ain't high now. Such a bullshit deal. So that's another Vince illustration. But I stayed and worked, and that trumps all my UK shows. I lost my mother, and I thought then, oh shit, this is number 2. I'm done. I'm done. And I went into deep depression. We went to all these great doctors in the Northeast. I flew home on the company plane with the other group of people, and went straight from the airport to the hospital or to the doctor's office, a specialist. They were in all these tests. It was the same deal, just on the other side of my face, and I looked really stupid. So, and I was off. That was in December, if I recall, and I went back to work on that. How I ended my book at WrestleMania with Shawn Austin and Rock won 15. They had 3 main events each against each other at WrestleManias. Nobody else ever done that. Two of my guys. I'm proud of that. I'm very partial. They're my guys. And they headlined 3 WrestleManias. So the first one was that, and they wanted me to call their match, and Vince wanted me to call their match. He thought it'd be good for my depression. Hey man, I was doing payroll at the house and doing my work. I wasn't leaving the house. I worked 2 or 3 months just in my living room. I didn't go to the grocery store. I felt like fucking Howard Hughes. I didn't want to go anywhere. So I've gotten over that. I've gone through a metamorphosis of not feeling sorry for myself and counting my blessings and trying to be grateful for what I have and the run I've had. So my friend said, JR, you lost your wife. How many years you have with her? 25. Then you consider that a blessing? You goddamn right I do. You damn right. She's irreplaceable. But I quit trying to replace her. Can't. You can't replace something that's irreplaceable. So all you can do is drive yourself crazy by trying to. So that's what monopolizes my UK pay-per-view memories, Kenny, and it's just not much more I can go past that. I mean, I hadn't ever a bad experience, but since I've been coming over here. But the Bulldog thing, I remember the heat on Shawn. I remember, I think the little sister's name was Tracy or something like that. Can't remember. And I think a couple of days, maybe Harry might have been there, and God, the sister, really beautiful girl.
Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, really pretty girl. But they were little kids, and then their dad gets screwed out of the title in his goddamn hometown. That never happens to us. Get beat up in our hometown. People say, why do they do that? Because that's the place the heel can get the most heat, because the babyface has the most support. There's an emotional attachment. If you can create more of an emotional attachment by doing it in somebody's hometown, the formula works better. It helps the heel get over. That's kind of what we did. One night in Tulsa, in Oklahoma City, I kissed his ass. I got Undertaker to punch me in the face and knock me down, and then goddamn Kurt Angle got me in an ankle lock, and I thought he was going to kill me. He said, well, sometimes I get carried away. Bullshit, come on, man. I'm an old guy. I don't need that. So what are you going to do either, right? Well, you just let it go medalist. So I killed him with kindness and made him feel sorry for me.
And I call him the following year and I say, oh, hey, Brad, how about facing me at WrestleMania? And this poor guy's like, Kurt, I just had a stroke. It was fucking crazy. So I understand why he said no, because I'm at the age. Not just because he had a stroke and he got kicked in the head and had a concussion.